All right, guys, we're here in the garage again. It's a pretty cold morning. It's supposed to warm up a lot this afternoon. So it's Saturday and we're gonna get to work. My plan for the day is to try to install this engine. It looks like it's gonna be pretty simple. If I have time, I'll probably go back and put the transmission in. A lot of times in Factory 5 videos and other things, a lot of people put the transmission and engine in together. I already had mine separated and my transmission jack is kind of buried. My transmission is pretty light. I'm just gonna pick it up and stick it on there. But with my engine hanging from the hoist over here, sitting on a tire, I don't want to try to do it there. So I'd rather try to just set it here in place where it's supposed to go. So that's my plan for the day. I'm going to set the engine in place, and then hopefully later on today I'll put the transmission in. This should really be a pretty short, simple video. It's two nuts is all that really holds the engine in place. The motor mounts are going to sit in these holes right here, and two nuts are going to screw in from the bottom. And that's pretty much the gist of it. WRXs have a tendency to lean forward when they're disconnected from the transmission, so I might end up having to put a wedge or a block or something in between the engine and the frame. But this should be a pretty simple video. We're going to start off by taking off this cross member. The nuts are already just hand tight from Factory 5. They're not really all that screwed in, so this should come off apart pretty easy. All right, let's get started. All right, before installing the engine, Factory 5 manual recommends that you remove this oil fill tube. So let's do that real quick. It looks like it's only 3 10mm bolts. So bracket. Another bolt, and just pops right out.
You're a crack at dawn, Monday morning coffee, strong, pouring everything you got into a paycheck Friday night. You're a power stroke, diesel backhoe riding, king of beers, 18-wheeler driving, living life in between the lines of clocking in and quitting time. Then the six-string circus comes to town. We hang them speakers over the crowd. When the lights come on, everybody screaming, lighters in the sky, yeah, everybody singing every word to every song of the girl they're taking home tonight. When the lights come on, everybody's feeling a hallelujah high from the floor to the ceiling. Yeah, the drink that we're drinking, the smoke that we're smoking, the party we throw, it's going all night long. When the lights come on, when the lights come on. You're a little shy thing with a wild side. On a night like this, you just can't hide, cause it's time to live it up. So come on and raise your cup. If we talk about memories, yeah, we're gonna make them. Talking about rules, you know we're gonna break them. When the lights come on, everybody screaming, lighters in the sky, yeah, everybody singing every word to every song of the girl they're taking home tonight. When the lights come on, everybody's feeling a hallelujah high from the floor to the ceiling. Yeah, the drink that we're drinking, the smoke that we're smoking, the party we throw, it's going all night long. When the lights come on, when the lights come on. Yeah, we all the same cause we thinking the same thing. We on the same page cause we sipping the same drink. Here's a little something to thank y'all for showing up. Al Dean and the boys are about to blow it up. When the lights come on and everybody's screaming, lighters in the sky, yeah, everybody's singing every word to every song of the girl they're taking home tonight. When the lights come on, everybody's feeling a hallelujah high from the floor to the ceiling. Yeah, the drink that we're drinking, the smoke that we're smoking, the party we throw, it's going all night long. When the lights come on, when the lights come on, your buzz blowing it.
All right, guys, it's as simple as that. It probably took me about 10 minutes. I do still have to put the two nuts on the bottom of the motor mounts, but it's pretty much done. I remember I was talking about the engine tipping over on WRXs when the transmission is dislocated from it. So I'm going to show you an example of that. As I let off on this hoist, just a little bit, you'll see that engine tip forward. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. So the engine won't just sit in here on its own. It's only 2 motor mounts at the bottom. So we're just gonna jack it up a little bit. Right about there, and I'll end up putting the nuts on it. It'll still tip over with the nuts on it, so don't think that it's just because those aren't shot down. It won't tip over as far because it'll wedge on those, but it will still tip over, and it can damage your motor mount, so you don't want to do that. We're going to wedge the back of it with a 2x4 or something while we take this engine hoist off.